Welcome to this very special episode of Behind the Screen. It's something, what is it? It's the 78th overall, assuming I haven't lost count somewhere, which is entirely possible. But you might note that it's not for Pugmire. Gasp, surprise, noise of concern. I'm okay, chat, don't worry about me. Right now, there is a Storypath Nexus game jam running, and I figured that I would take this time to work on my entry for that, rather than continuing with the Pugmire thing, because it has to be a supplement that you haven't been working on in advance. Regardless, highways and byways isn't thematically appropriate, so there we go. But I'll get more into that later, don't worry. I will explain fully what the game jam is and introduce the concept for people who are not aware of it. But for now, as usual, we'll start at the very top. My name is Ryan, or Comrade Bubbles. I'm not an official representative of Onyx Path. I'm simply a fan with the platform. This is not official material. All views and opinions expressed are my own, and the material will be available to buy on the Storypath Nexus. I am also disabled. I do experience muscle twitches and spasms that can affect the muscles of my jaw and throat, which any muscle group really, but those two specifically for the purposes of the show are the most inconvenient. It can worsen my natural stutter or stammer or slurring of speech. I do also struggle with multiple trains of thought. So as you can see to my left, to your right, it says please do feel free to ask anything you can think of relating to or playing or running Onyx Path role-playing games. Comment on my work as you will. I do not care. But please do bear in mind that if I'm talking about something, I will try to finish what I'm talking about before jumping over onto what you were before addressing your point. I may make a comment to acknowledge it, but I will generally finish what I'm talking about first, because otherwise I will lose the thread of what I was saying beforehand, and just the thought will be half expressed, and it'll be infuriating for us all. Okay, so as usual, as ever, the Monday meeting notes are the best place to go for any. Just as to pause the stream, otherwise the internet will not like it. For any Onyx Path updates. So a quick rundown of those. The immediate one is that the next crowdfunding campaign will be on BackKit. You can go to the link I've just posted in the chat. You can sign up to be notified when it goes live. It is for the Curious Cats of Mal, which is an update of the Monarchies of Mal material for the Realms of Pugmire, so second edition of what used to be Pugmire. However, unlike Monarchies of Mal, it is not a core rulebook. It is a supplement. You still need the Realms of Pugmire book for it, but it implements the Onyx 20 system. And is, just more Realms of Pugmire goodness. Now, if you are interested but didn't manage to back Realms of Pugmire, you'll be happy to know that Realms of Pugmire will be a pledge/add-on for this campaign, so you can pick it up. It's not, as far as I'm aware, out yet, but it is coming. It is on its way. Don't eat raw haggis. That is fantastic advice. But welcome to the channel. Yes, so next crowdfunding campaign, Curious Cats of Mal. So as usual, it's probably reasonable to expect that there'll be some coverage of Pugmire and Mal content on this very Twitch channel throughout that campaign. When does that start? No one is asking, but I'll tell you anyway. Now, in a week's time. 2 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday the 20th of February 2024. But again, if you go to that link, if you sign up with your email address, you'll get an announcement email. What else is happening though? Well, it's kind of the meat and potatoes of this stream, if you pardon the idiom. Currently running throughout the month. I believe the deadline is the 28th of February. Yes. Is a game jam. A game jam, for those who do not know, is sometimes a competition, sometimes it's just a project, like a collaborative, not collaborative, just a window of time. More monarchy, more scheming, exactly, instead with S. A window of time, a period of time, in which a group of people, usually game designers, because that's why it's called a game jam, make a product around a shared theme. So throughout the entirety of this month, and as of date of recording is the 13th of February. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, it is at the very least the 20th of February, depending on when I remember to upload the video. So you'll be running out of time, essentially, but just for contextual information. Throughout the month of February, you are the game jam is running, and if you its theme is I believe New Beginnings. Whatever that means, however you interpret that, its theme is New Beginnings, and you are eligible to enter any community content for any eligible Storypath Nexus product. So you have to check which game lines are eligible, but that encompasses Scion, Trinity Continuum, and they came from game lines. Please do check which ones are eligible if you are interested in entering, because some of the books aren't out yet, or some of the books aren't cleared for community content, so something to be aware of. But throughout the month of February, the deadline is the 28th, with the 29th being the award ceremony. You are encouraged, you don't have to, but you are encouraged to create something themed around New Beginnings for any of those game lines. And there are 3 prizes: grand prize of £50 drive-through credit, most popular prize $25 drive-through credit for the most popular prize, and then judge's favorite prize is $25 drive-through credit. If you win the grand prize, you cannot win the other 2 prizes for obvious reasons. A whole bunch of rules listed on this page. Hang on, make sure I've got the link copied if you are interested. Rules as well as the scoring criteria. Personally, for my time management, if this had been March, yes, US dollars specifically. If this had, I believe anyway, if this had been March, it would have been a lot better for my time management. But here we are. I'm still doing it. I don't know why I just decided to. I had an idea. That's why I'm doing it, I guess. And I decided to add another project to my backlog. But that's what today's stream is going to be about. It's about my game jam entry, and I'll talk through that more later on. But continuing on, if you are on Blue Sky and you were unaware, Blue Sky no longer needs invites. Onyx Path does have a Blue Sky presence, so if you are not already following them on Blue Sky, please do try to follow the page and help build the community on Blue Sky. And then there's some brief discussion of At the Gates works. There is an ash can coming, so that will hopefully be interesting to some people. It's the second of the Earthbane cycle, following on from The World Below. If you are interested in such things, links for these are now... I'm not going to share links for everything, but there is a Chronicles of Darkness sale over at Indie Press Revolution if you want something physical. And the Trinity Continuum, Aeon, and Aberrant novellas are on sale for a few more days. Links to Curseborn continue. Who knows what that's about? So, as I mentioned, the Game Jam is a thing right now. It's a big push, obviously. It is being judged by community members. It's not being judged by Onyx Path themselves. But the schedule, unsurprisingly, does include more Game Jam content. So all of these times are in EST. So Tuesday, 9 a.m. Congrats, you showed up. Imaginary points for you, but that's this show behind the screen. Tuesday, so today at 8 p.m. Storypath Nexus Game Jam Workshop. Believe with the awkward GM, who's one of the judges, I think, but I could be wrong about that. I can scroll up to confirm one of those facts. Yes. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Mage to the Ascension, Walking into Shadow. I'm right. Excellent. I like being right. It doesn't happen that often. Hopefully there's no conflict of interest there. That's a joke. I fully trust Awkward GM to be unbiased and impartial. Wednesday 9 PM, Age of the Ascension, Walking to Shadow. Thursday 9 PM, more Game Jam goodness, this time on Scion. Friday noon, they came from the Cyclops' Cave, Warriors of Legend. Saturday 2 PM, Meet Your Makers with Phil Keeling. This week, an interview with Matthew Dawkins. And then Monday at 8 PM, again, I've said this the past three times, but it is still the most cursed name, Hunter the Vigil Stuffed. That is the Twitch schedule for this week. Media highlight of the week is Scion, The Coming Storm, an actual play that is being uploaded to the Onyx Path YouTube channel. And then on sale this week, Once and Future for Scion. Specifically, the hardcover POD is being made available. The PDF has been out for a couple of weeks now. But that's really it. There's nothing too exciting to talk about. I'm still trying to experiment with the right balance of updates from the Monday meeting notes and show content, because obviously the Monday there is an Onyx Path news thing that Matthew Dawkins does. So I don't want to, just cover information that's included in that. But I do recommend you go through to the Monday meeting notes and look at where projects are in the development status, as well as links to important media and the release roundup. Let's say bulk of the stream. Let's say bulk. It's nicer. Let's say bulk of the stream is going to be on my Game Jam submission. You can tell from the Word document that it has no formal title yet. I have not thought of a title for it. Foundation is just the name of the first act. A note on that: this is a introductory adventure for Trinity Continuum Core. Anyone who wants to write community content for Trinity Continuum, for the Trinity Continuum game line specifically, you cannot start your community content with the letter A or the diphthong A as found on Aeon. This is just because all of the official games start with A, or A in the case of Aeon. So that's something to bear in mind. Sounds fine, but I'm also writing. I'm also writing another adventure. That one is not introductory, but I'm writing another adventure. Or I have another adventure in my work in progress folder. And every name, the first 5 names I thought up for it began with A, and I had to shoot them all down because they were good names, but I couldn't use them. So that's great. So Trinity Continuum Core is, as you would expect, the core kind of rulebook and setting and game line for the Trinity Continuum. All of the other Trinity Continuum books, you need core for, but they add a new setting into the Continuum. So at the moment, settings are. Hey Zach, how you doing? At the moment, settings are, and I'm going to try to get all of them from memory, but don't. You know what? I could cheat, but I'm not going to. So we've got Aegis, which is kind of like classical Greco-Roman, but characters from the future, thrown backwards in time. Ether, kind of steampunk. This is all reductive broad strokes. Adventure, which is Nazi punching in the 20s and 30s, I believe. 1920s and 30s. Core is usually modern-day sci-fi action blockbuster kind of feel. Aberrant is near-future superheroes. And Aeon is far-future sci-fi space opera. I keep doing this. I do not know why. But whenever I sit down to have an idea for Trinity Continuum, it's always for core, because particularly with the way I like to introduce people to things, and the fewer barriers to entry there are, the better. So I generally write for core books, for community content for core books, just to help people get into the game without requiring 2 rule books to make a character and play the game, if that makes sense. But I also really like sci-fi. So I kind of am slightly pushing up against the boundaries of the established kind of expectations of Trinity Continuum Core with this adventure. So I have this it's not me. Just this adventure has the caveat that this is a sci-fi action thing, but in like a made-for-TV movie kind of sci-fi action thing, low budget, kind of along the lines of like Pitch Black, where technically it's sci-fi, but for all intents and purposes, it's just modern times with slightly advanced technology. So that's where we're at. The kind of when I get around to writing the introduction, some of this will filter into the introduction to the adventure. But essentially, it's that sure, space travel technically exists, but we've not encountered alien species. Sorry, it's not a big part of the story. It's more of a plot device than anything else, and it's not really an important consideration. What is an important consideration is that I wanted to write a mech versus kaiju scene, and I worked backwards from there how I would reach that point. So Foundation and Expansion, the first two acts of a 3-act story. The third act is the climax. It's not what I'm writing today, so buy the adventure and find out how that works later on when it's finished. So through all of this, for people who are new to the show, or who have not been here for a while, please do treat this as a constant Ask Me Anything. Ideally about Onyx Path role-playing games. I reserve the right to refuse to answer any questions I don't want to. And if I don't know an answer, I will generally try to point you in the right direction. But just as a kind of snapshot of just writing advice in general, because this is a one-off episode of the show, it'll go in its own playlist on my YouTube channel. Just snapshot of good writing advice. One, use headers properly when you're writing material. It makes it easier to navigate, to check things. And two, where possible, obviously try to ape official style. I guess as a distant third, there are a whole bunch of templates available to creators, provided by Onyx Path Publishing. Some of them don't work quite right in not so mostly thinking here of like if the InDesign templates can technically be imported into Affinity Publisher, which is what I use, but they don't always import properly because of just differences between the programs. And hey, Plastic Age Plays, how you doing? Sometimes the Word documents, the Word templates, again, if you're using a slightly more modern version of Word than they were created for, they don't always work properly. Word itself is quite doable to do formatting in. I think all of my products, apart from Horrors of the Continuum, were done in Word. It just requires a bit of know-how. I was overheating. It just requires a bit of know-how, but there's plenty of people on the Onyx Path Discord server and I assume fora, who will happily answer any questions you might have about how to do layout in Word and how to get around Word's unique roadblock is kind of the wrong word. Idiosyncrasies, that's the word I was looking for. Just as a corollary to that, mostly because I wanted to say the word corollary, if you are writing in Google Docs, please be aware that Google Docs hates formatting, and every time you copy-paste text into or out of Google Docs, there is a very good chance that it will consume all attempts at formatting you have made, and you'll just have either a wall of text or a column of text that is useful to no one. So please be aware of that, particularly if you are copying from Microsoft Word, where you've got your formatting right, into Google Docs. Sometimes it does mess with font size and character and line spacings for no apparent reason. It just wants to. So that's something to be aware of. How's it going? Well, I've spent 20 minutes waffling and I haven't actually written anything, so that's how it's going. But, context is everything, and the whole point of the show is to help people who may have questions. So today... Today, also, before getting into the writing side of things, just some general advice as someone who does game jams whenever they have time to do them. When you are writing community content, and it's not a collaboration with someone else, so you don't have to worry about word count. Scope creep is something very much to be aware of. Anyone who's been sitting through my show for the past while, basically since its inception, should be acutely aware of how as I write things occur to me, and I just throw them into the supplement ad hoc. No real plan for them originally, but they go in anyway. With a game jam, because it is a timed thing, and sometimes you get a month, as in the case here. Sometimes you have less time. Sometimes you have more time. So please be aware of any deadlines you have to work around. But because it is a timed thing, it is very important to get to have a feel for how much scope creep you can incorporate into the project and still get it out on time. As a rule of thumb, everything takes longer than you think it's going to take, particularly layout, if you're anything like me, although that may just be because I take the Word manuscript and shunt it into a different program. Obviously, if you're working in Word, that step is a bit faster, maybe. But if you have any interest in writing professionally, freelance or as an in-house writer for a company, and good luck if you can find a company looking for in-house writers. It's useful to have the ability to limit creep and to work within those strict kind of deadlines, restrictions of word count. So just as an example, really, that the current series of the show, current season of the show is obviously working on Highways and Byways, a supplement for the Realms of Pugmire, and I've added stuff to that I had no plan to add originally, like spells, for example. I never intended to put spells in. They're there just because I couldn't focus properly for a stream, and so I took suggestions from the Discord server. With this, because it's a game jam submission where I have a limited amount of time and it's for a specific purpose, I don't want to overwhelm potential story guides and players by bombarding them with information. So I have a very strict list of things that I'm going to include, with an optional thing that I'll include if I have the time. So the strict list of things that I'm going to include is three acts. Each of you can see with 1, 2, or 3 scenes. Act 3 is probably only going to be 1 scene, well, maybe 2. But each scene generally is serving a purpose to introduce a mechanic of some kind, because it's an introductory adventure. But most importantly, each scene has a word limit that I'm trying to stick to. Basically, if I can't write it in one day, it's not fitting in, and a comfortable limit is 1,500 words for me. I can do 2,000, but that adds like an extra page to each act. Bit more if you include art, which is just that bit more for people to read. And also, I spent last year writing at 2,000 words a day, and it was basically a sprint for 3 months without end, and I'd rather not do that again. So 1,500 words per act is a reasonable, I feel anyway, a reasonable kind of guide for this kind of project. It works out about 4 sides of A4 at size 11 Calibri font. I just prefer Calibri. I find it easier to read than Times New Roman. Your mileage may vary on that, and obviously when you're using the templates, which you should do, the templates have their own font choices that you should use to make it as compatible is the wrong word, but in line with official products as you possibly can to give it that extra synergy in a way. So that's the importance of limiting scope creep and word count, mostly just to ensure that you get it done on time. So yes, as I was saying, things I'm including here: 3 acts, an appendix of just story guide characters, so that if you do want to... So, obviously, a good adventure is going to... Slight digression here, I guess. So I do creative writing as well. I just like writing creatively. So it kind of made sense as a career move to get into writing adventures and stuff. But there is a difference, a noticeable difference, for me at least, between writing creatively and writing adventures for role-playing games. When you're writing creatively, ideally, you'll have everything tied up by the end of the story. There'll be no lingering plot threads, unless you're obviously setting up a sequel bait, which, you know, that can pay off sometimes. Other times you just have a plot thread that gets ignored or forgotten. But with adventures, particularly with adventures for a role-playing game where a campaign can, or a chronicle or a story or whatever you want to call it, can just go on and on and on for years, you do kind of want to leave dangling threads that story guides can pick up and run with. So something to be aware of if you're writing an adventure is that, like, you won't get the benefit of it unless you then write a follow-up adventure, which is what I'm planning to do on the next season of the show. Off to work, have a good stream. Thanks for swinging by, Zach. Have a great day at work, or as, you know, enjoyable a day as possible. But I mean, personally, to my mind, if I'm buying a pre-written adventure, a lot of it is, yes, I'd like an adventure that I can use, but I'd also like that adventure to... Did I hear someone say biased? You heard someone say biased because they meant to say unbiased, or okay? I backtracked. I get performance anxiety still. It's real bad. But how you doing? Yes, if I'm buying a published adventure, I like to have the adventure, but I also like to have the plot hooks, or the seeds that can be grown into a further adventure, or even that old truism of no plan survives contact with the players, right? Slight paraphrase there, I admit, but if you have that wiggle room of loose plot threads, or dangling plot threads, or story seeds, it gives you something to build on if your players go wildly off-piste. So I would... Again, this is all my advice, this is all stuff I like to do. Your mileage may vary. Everyone is different, everyone's approach is different. But don't tie everything up nicely or neatly. Also, and again, this is going back to... This is more just like a good practice getting into if you are looking to get hired to write for a company. I think it's a reasonably safe assumption that most companies would like you to leave plot threads and hooks and dangling threads and story seeds woven throughout any material you write for them, because then it encourages people to buy the book and to buy other books to explore those story ideas. So again, it's just something good to get into the habit of doing. So that was a digression. So yes, appendix of story guide characters that story guides can use to flesh out the story. None of the characters will be named in the text because players just like different people. Kicks open door, blasting rock music. Are you winning, son? I mean, I'm here on the internet. Twitch proclaims that 6 people right now are paying attention to me soapboxing about adventure writing and game jams, which I guess for a given value of winning, yes, I'm winning. Something, Papa, you came back with the milk, something. Yeah, so list of story guide characters that can be used during this adventure and then in further adventures. Mostly because I struggle with naming characters, so any adventure that gives me that list is very useful. It won't be terribly long because, again, scope creep, and I'm limiting my word count, but it will be there. Introduction. Mom's making lasagna. Hey, lasagna's pretty good. Introduction, obviously, talking about the themes. I guess big warning because of the story I wanted to tell. While the adventure does involve a colony, there's no imperialism involved unless the players deliberately set out on a campaign of conquest. The general shtick, as you can, like, the top of the product description will be the read loud text at the top of this page, which for people watching, for context, because some people just listen. 8 to 9 years ago, the flare bathed the surface of the Earth in a wave of dangerous cosmic radiation. Electronic systems shorted out, satellites fell from orbit, and millions died. Now, in 2156, the combined resources of Earth's former lunar and Martian colonies have allowed for a resettlement to begin. A landing zone has been chosen, a shuttle has been equipped, and a crew selected. You are part of that crew, and the future of the colony is in your hands. So it's that kind of colony. Resource exploitation, which shouldn't be glorified, but is a staple of the sci-fi genre. And I just like doing post-apocalyptic stuff. So enjoy your post-apocalyptic Earth, ignoring the question of how many people survive, because there's enough for bandits and a nearby civilization to be allies, and all of that good stuff that is usually not explained at any detail in the kind of sci-fi action made-for-TV movie that I'm trying to emulate here, because you don't need to overthink it that much. I do overthink things, and the introduction may have some kind of possible solutions to that. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But the important thing is Appendix B, which is what I'm going to be writing today, because it's mechanical in nature, and I always feel like, well, I have written an adventure. I think I've only written one adventure on stream. This was the first season of the show here at twitch.tv/The Onyx Path. I always feel like mechanics are more interesting to talk about with an audience, and more enlightening with an audience, and not necessarily the most interesting part of the adventure writing when creating bespoke rules for it, but the most I guess discussion generating part. Because yes, I could talk about why I'm introducing an element in a scene, or why. How many products have you worked on in total? Oh gosh. I say oh gosh like I can't check that really quickly. In fact, while I'm talking right now, I'm also typing, navigating my way to drivethroughrpg.com, where you'll be able to find all of these game jam submissions. And then I'm typing my name into the search bar. So, as a solo designer / writer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm counting 6 community content pieces. I've collaborated on 2, 3, 4 more. Again, assuming I can count correctly. Being Multi-Corgis, Acid Shanties, Siren Pride 2021, Patrons of the Scarred Lands, and Storypath Showcase Notes Core, which you can watch. That's a pretty good actual play. Everyone should go check out that actual play. Let me know how Ariadne struck you as just being a meathead. As well as a Microsoft Word. What? A 2-star rating on my Microsoft Word template for Fenrilic products? How rude. Anyway. So what was that? Like 10 projects overall, 6 of which were my own, and 4 collaborations, plus the template. Don't really count the template. As well as a couple of non-community content projects that aren't for Onyx Path games, and therefore probably shouldn't be mentioned here. I also realised I have a list of them on my website. That would have been way easier. Maybe just because it's a Word template. That's fair. That is very fair. People are just weird on drive-through ratings. I mean, just in general, the internet, people are just weird. Where's the RTF template you asked for? Oh man, I mean, technically I guess I could just do that, because doesn't Word let you save to RTF? Yeah, I mean, I could do that, or you could download the template, which does actually include advice on how to make community content. I want to point that one out. And save it as an RTF yourself, because I am a busy game designer and I have better things to be doing than exporting to every possible text format. That's a lie. I'm not busy. Hire me. Sip. Although, like, hire me next month, please. I have a deadline this month. Well, 2 with this one. Yeah, so mechanics are just, I find, more useful for discussion generation. Oh, hey, look, I actually copied the template over. Can't you make a template in RTF? Oh, I'm not saving as a template, don't worry. It's literally just a Word document with all of the stuff in it you need. Apart from the font files, because those are provided elsewhere. God, I don't save things as templates. Ugh. Right. I need to do this. Appendix. My gosh, can you imagine how the world would be different if appendic was the singular and appendix was the plural? Briggs. Yes, so near future, kind of, as I say, made for TV, low budget sci-fi movie, and the staple of that entire thing is exo armor, right? A piece of equipment that you step into and you're suddenly stronger and more resilient than you would ever be normally. Except I wanted to make it... English is a special language. It is. It really is. Except obviously because it's an introductory adventure, I wanted to introduce concepts in each act. And so the rigs are an additional way of doing that by explaining armor tags and things of that nature. They're not specifically armor. I want to point that one out right now, or I want to point that out right now. I'm going to write the first generation rig up as armor, because functionally that's what it is. But each act has another generation of rig. I know appendix is Latin Jowsy, but it's... English is Latin, Greek, Romance. English gathers its rules by mugging other languages and going through their pockets for loose grammar. It's true. That's why we have goose geese, but moose moose. Oh, fun fact for people who want to be utterly confused by the English language. Sheep and fish are both the plural and the singular, except when you have multiple species of sheep or fish. So if you have like 5 beta fish and 1 goldfish, that's fishes, and it works with sheep and sheeps, I believe. Yeah, thanks for the resub, Jowsy. I wish it were meese, I really do, but it's moose, or mooses, I guess that you can get away with, but I think I'd always err on the side of moose. But with Latin specifically, English treats data as a singular noun, but it's technically a plural. Datum is the singular. You little fishes. Noun? I think it's a noun. Whatever. Anyway, yeah. Data is technically plural. You should all be pluralizing data. With declensions and stuff. Conjugations, sorry. Sleeping with the fishes is grammatically accurate as long as there's more than one species of fish that you're sleeping with. Which sounds kinky. In a like shape of water kind of way, I guess, if you're into that. I'm going to stop that. This is not my channel. There are limits to what I can and should not say. Going back to this. This pond only has one type of fish. Well, then it's sleeping with the fish. First generation rig. Hello, NRT Ranish. How are you doing? Which was the first Shape of Water reference made on the channel. Oh, I doubted it would be. This is that kind of channel that has those kind of games. Growing up on understanding the English language, I got taught Latin 1 year before being taught English, and now everything is confusing. Oh! Alan's got a new username. I will try to remember that. Yeah, English is just confusing because it's borrowed from so many different languages. Anyway, yes. Obviously, I say obviously a lot. I apologize. When writing mechanics, I try to hint with the mechanics about like what purpose that serves. But if it's just a discrete collection of tags, also just to rewind about like fishes, etc. I am an editor. I need to know these things for professional reasons. It's not. I mean, I do like words anyway, but it's not just that I just know random things about words. I'm not an Onyx Path editor. I don't want to muddy the waters there. The fish are already struggling enough. But I do editing as well as writing. Yes. So obviously I've mentioned this before, but having everything tying together to the narrative, because the mechanics of any role-playing game at the end of the day ultimately theoretically serve the narrative, not the other way around. And the mechanics very much dictate the kind of story you're telling. There was an anecdote I read online, so take it with a pinch of salt, about I think it was a convention game where they had a large table of players, and each player had a character from a different game line, but they were all playing in the same game, the same one-shot. And the GM observed how kind of their characters were... how they were all acting in a way that supports that game's style of play, but not necessarily the one-shot. So there was like a D&D character who was super into combat, and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic character who was extremely into the compassion and friendship building side of the game, and they were both in the same one-shot and pulling the plot in different directions. Obviously, to some extent, Storypath is great because it's a vaguely generic system. It's the additional books, Adventure, Ether, Anima, Aberrant, etc., that then colour the game. There is a whole section in the core rulebook on the importance of genre. So if you have access to it, I highly recommend you read it. It's a very interesting read. But as kind of just a reductive statement, Trinity Continuum Core, yes, lends itself to sci-fi action, but it is more or less generic enough that you can push it into most directions you want, which is why I did the horrors of the Continuum product for people who want to do horror games, but with the Trinity Continuum interpretation of the Storypath system. That was a sentence. That said, I'm all one for tell, don't show when it comes to narrative and mechanics and how they mix. So while the rigs are going to be a collection of tags and edges and tags and gifts, sorry, more on that later. They're going to also have like hey, this is what it actually looks like in game. This is what in world. This is what it functions as in world. Because it's that barrier to entry. I would much rather remove a barrier by saying this is the world as it is. This is the tech level. These are the toys that the players can play with, rather than just have a brief line introducing something and then a collection of game terms that you then build an understanding of just through knowing the game, rather than this is a thing that's being introduced to you at this point in the game, and will help you understand how the game works. These rigs were sent to Earth with the colonists and are a little more bare metal and servos. Initially designed for mining and excavation purposes. Again, if you want me to elaborate on anything or to discuss something else, I say again, this has never come up this stream. This hasn't come up yet this stream. The writing is purely just for something to talk about. If there's anything you want to talk about, feel free to mention it in chat, ask, whatever. I can finish this in my own time. This is not going to be a 1,500 word section, by the way. I'm aiming for 500 words, and I may not even reach that. I don't know yet. It's the macro rig, the Jaeger, if you will, the Gundam, the Evangelion, whatever they were called in Evangelion. I've never actually watched it. I'm trying to appear cooler than I actually am. But I've got to get through first and second generation rigs first. Mining and excavation purposes. Rigs are utilitarian, but they can be repurposed for a variety of uses. Tags. So I'm gonna go with, because this is basically a power loader from Aliens. I'm not gonna, there's no two ways about it. It's essentially a power loader from Aliens. So I'm kind of wondering if I should give it the hard armor 3, so you get the 2 additional injury conditions. So armor, usually the more tags you apply to it, the more expensive it is, but this is equipment that's already provided. So the characters don't have to you don't have to be concerned about the wealth edge telling you how many tags you can apply to it. This is just something that I want to be able to point the players towards as, hey, this is a bespoke piece of equipment that they could make if they wanted to, and these are the tags that go with it and the benefits for wearing it. So yeah, it's probably going to be hard 3. Why not? Give you 2 extra injury conditions to represent the, you know, the bulky exoskeleton protecting you. Although, to be fair, no, I'll do that, because then the second generation rigs of their own aren't specifically armor. Oop, that's the wrong window for me to open. Tags! Hard 3. Please note, for people who have not been here before, this is all first draft material. It is likely to change between now and layout, and so this may be more like it appears in the rulebook as a table entry. Sorry, everything on the line rather than like this, but sure, why not? Composite, impact, and slash resistant. And then nice little extras, because I like the word extras. It's fun, and this is where you can do whatever the heck you want with it. Right, I believe I've spoken at length about the necessity of not reinventing the wheel. So because this is a Game Jam entry for community content, well, specifically, I guess, because it's community content, you can take game text from the rulebooks, but they don't really need to in most cases. But that does mean I can reference things in the rulebook and save word count by just saying, here's the thing that you need, and here's the relevant page number for it. I thought there was... Here it is. Extras. Party. Insert 2 dots. Hardy 2. Without the ability to recover injury conditions. Let's say without the increased injury condition recovery. That'll teach me to be talking while typing. So, Hardy is an edge that simply gives you the character enhancement to resist and overcome disease, intoxicants, poisons, and radiation. Actually, this doesn't work per se because this is more of a power loader. Never mind, ignore that. Ignore what I just did there. Any character using this rig, let's say within this rig, gains a +2 enhancement. Enchantment, chat. That's a different word entirely. +2 enhancement on rolls using strength or stamina. Because the rig is doing heavy lifting. Now, admittedly, I could treat this as a scale thing, but I don't want to introduce scale into the adventure just yet. So, rather than mentioning scale, it is simply this is a bonus for wearing the first generation rig. Exoskeletons with the colonists. Little more than bare metal and servos. Initially designed for mining excavation purposes, these rigs are usually tear enough that they can be repurposed for a variety of uses. The rig contains a sealed air supply that lasts for a maximum of 30 minutes. Let's say the rig contains a... Well, it comes with, let's say, even better. An atmosphere monitor for detecting airborne toxins. A sealed air supply that lasts for a maximum of 30 minutes. And recharges passively. Because it's the future, and why not? My thinking here is that because these have been sent from the lunar and Martian colonies, the operator would be wearing like an EVA suit anyway, and so they don't need to have that in the rig. This is just an emergency backup in case of, well, emergency. So there we go. That's the first generation rig. It is impact and slash resistant. It provides 2 additional injury conditions just because it functions as armor. It gives you 2 enhancement on rolls using strength or stamina, and it can tell you if there are airborne toxins. Again, I guess aura vacuum. As well as a sealed air supply to help deal with that. So I think that kind of achieves the purpose I want it to achieve. It's simple to understand. It comes with a limited number of things for the players to remember that they have access to. But it's useful and ties into the narrative. Second generation rigs are where my personal biases as a nerd come to bear, and there's no two ways about this. These are Warframes. Because I like Warframe. And when I was figuring out this submission, going backwards from a Jaeger or a mech, whatever you want to call it, I was like, well, logically, Just size it down, you've got a Warframe. Size it down further, you've got a Powerlifter from Aliens. There we go, problem solved. So there we go. After years of... Oh, also, there's years gaps between each of the acts. So your players can technically change characters if they wish. If something's not working out how they thought it would, or they're just not enjoying it, or they feel like their character's... that character's influence on the story has run its course. They can just swap out character. It's a colony. There's plenty of people to choose from. After years of innovation, the colony's engineers have created a series of bespoke rigs for a variety of specialized purposes. Oh, I should probably... these rigs are bulky enough that the user can wear an EVA suit within it. An EVA, or similarly protective suit within it. So if you want to get in the rig in armor, you can. Whereas these, you can't. Each is a contained unit that comes equipped with a self-sustaining You know what? Let's do that later under extras. That fits the wearer snugly and is interfaced with via a specialized suit. Colony has only needed a few of these rigs grow, but feel free to use them as inspiration for your own. So it's basically just going to be 2 rigs per physical attribute. Heavy rigs, swift rigs, and I'll subconsciously process how I should refer to stamina rigs. Each of the following uses this template as a base. Please. Thank you. Okay, so back to the armor tags, see if any of them are applicable to my ideas. Not really. However, the suit will be soft armor 1. This suit has the following armor tags. And again, just composite armor because it's just easier to use. Also, the enemies have guns, which these suits are not resistant to. Anyway, labor rig, roller rig, Dogger rig, Hunter rig. I want to give them cool names, but at the same time, I don't want to tread too far into like toes of established properties, so I'm not going to. So that's the interface suit. Oops. Nope. That's all gone horribly wrong. No one saw that. Right, can I make a base? Yes, I can. Rigs all use the following template. Armored. The rig provides an additional 5 injury conditions. And the user is forcibly ejected. Short range, when the last injury condition is, I guess, dealt. I'll be checking the wording of that before it's published. What else? When I was thinking through things before the stream, there was something else I thought of that I could include as like a standard. This is what they all provide. But you know what? Now it's here. I absolutely cannot think about it. Think of what it. Remember what it was. Rigs all move at the user speed. Not that you really have a speed, but it's trying to get across the they're not faster than the person piloting it. Hang on, there'll be a way for me to check the wording there. I just got to find the right chapter in the rulebook. There we go. Yeah, it's just a single range band. Let's say move as the user moves. Nah. Move no faster than their user. And use the following template. There we go, that's better. Anyway, magnetic surface. Each rig comes with 4 magnetic attachment points. For storing weapons and equipment. There we go. And now, the main difference between second generation and first generation is that second generation rigs need to be piloted by talents, because they have gifts which require expenditure of inspiration. Well, I think enhanced impact is exactly what I had in mind for the brawler rig. That's the wrong document, right? I guess these technically are all headings because they're going to have their own things beneath them. Brawler rig. Gift. Because this is an introductory thing, I'm absolutely giving page numbers. These page numbers may change because of the reprint. I don't know. I only have access to the PDF I have, and I haven't downloaded it in a while to check if there's a new version. I probably should do that before I submit this for the Game Jam, but there we go. Rigs move no faster than their user. Grant access to a single gift. With that sweet, sweet M dash. Powered by the user's inspiration. And facets. Gift enhanced impact. Extras. The user adds the destructive facet. Reload combat rolls. And then labor rig. I guess labor is more of a stamina-based thing than a strength-based thing. Yeah. I'll just put stamina rigs for a moment. Endurance rigs, why not? There we go. Sorry, frantically typing headings. Brawler rig. Developed after a strong start with the first weekend, but haven't had very much time to do anything since then, unfortunately. If it helps, Alan, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I thought I'd have enough time to do stuff, but then I realised that I have a deadline at the end of the month that is before this submission deadline, and there are a couple of days that I just can't work for personal reasons, and so I started panicking yesterday about getting everything finished on time, which is one of the reasons I decided to write this on stream today, is just so I had that extra time to get some work done. Act as a last line. I also note that this is going to be over 500 words, so that's great, but if I keep it to about 750 and then 250 for the introduction, that should work out. Good luck for the deadlines. Thank you, I appreciate it. Developed to act as a last line of defense against mutated animals and these rigs were developed. There we go. Still need an addition. I love deadlines. I love the whooshing. Oh yeah, the evergreen Douglas Adams quote. The whooshing sound as they make as they fly by. I guess I'll leave that for now, and I'll just come back to it. Well, actually, if I have that there. As well as to provide a means of clearing new ground. Wrecking rig. So all heavy rigs add destructive facet to destruction. Hang on, I can check that real quick. So all heavy rigs will add the destructive facet to close combat rolls because kind of that's their purpose. Please note that is not as enhancement. That's just as extra dice to the roll. Yeah, I mean, like, just doing one faction, that's basically just a tasty bit in and of itself, right? I will admit that sometimes I go too far with what I'm doing, and I get a bit too ambitious. I feel like there was... Yeah, Fist of Stone. I was like, I'm pretty sure Ariadne had a suitable gift here. I just couldn't remember the name of it. But just punch through things. It'll be fine. What was this, an overachiever? Am I? Am I really, though? And ignoring prerequisites. 1.5 done right now, but it started before the jam. I'm thinking of seeing if I can knock something out for DRE this weekend or next. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I was very nearly done with an adventure that I could have reworked for the jam's theme, but I started it last year, and I felt like that was not in the spirit of the thing, and also actually against the rules. So there's that. Rigs were developed to... I might be able to keep this within 500 words, because the macro rig is just going to be one rig. There isn't going to be a selection of them. It's just going to have a bunch of buffs for scale and things. These rigs were developed to cross ground swiftly and are used to hunt prey animals. Scout the nearby bandit threats. You know what? Surveil. There's a word I don't use very often. I thought that was a word. Pretty sure surveil is a word, right? Am I making that up? No, it is a word. It's just not in the Microsoft Words Dictionary. Oh, speaking of Google Docs and dictionaries and things, Google Docs word check spell check is now apparently powered by AI. So please be aware of that if you rely on it. I'd say spellers, but then might be a false friend from French. No, apparently according to the Merriam-Webster, it is an actual word. Because I was thinking it might be a false friend as well, but it's not. The user... hang on, do I want to... don't think I do. Yeah, let's not. I just need to check the rules on something, but I think it'll be fine. Also, I'm hoping that by making it so that they share certain, like the rig families share extras, share an ability, it's getting it a bit further away from, hey, this is just a Warframe XP. Yeah. User can sprint as a reflexive action. Spell check powered by AI. I hope they froze the net. I mean, that's powered by... I think Duolingo's going over to an AI model now. It's so good. do kind of want to put together a Warframe game using this system now, though. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I could have a lot of fun with that. This is the Hunter frame, so... I think we'll go with the Blind Spot Survival Gift, which, as a relic of being from the core rulebook, it imposes a condition, but the text doesn't actually say what that condition does. Complication, sorry. But it's kind of the best thing I had in mind. But, like a stealth thing. Unless Larceny has a better one. Where is that gift that was referenced? There it is. Can't imagine why would you use a generative AI to verify the truth of statements, so the AI in question must be a different type of AI, although that would be a discussion for a different forum. I think with regards to Duolingo, it was generating the like AI translation for the language courses. I kind of want to specify the complication here. Blind spots. If not bought off, the character becomes aware of the rig's presence, but not its specific location. Like they sense traces of they sense the presence, but not exactly where it is. I feel like that's a good enough thing. And then anything good here? I might swap that, actually. Put that as the stalker, and then the hunter gets eyes like a cat. Spacing these out for my own sanity. There we go. And these rigs were developed to aid with manual labor and heavy lifting. Extras. So with that in mind, let's go with let's give them enhancement, why not? It gains a +3 enhancement on stamina rolls. which I guess technically includes defense. So, I mean, these are the tanky rigs. So, sure, why not? I might lower that. Who knows? That's a future problem. Construction, anyway. I think iron lungs. Works. Designed to build stuff in any atmosphere. Oh, actually. Let's just give every rig the iron lungs gift. It's a sealed unit. Kind of makes sense that they would do that. So I need a different gift. Now, of course, comes the problem of finding something that isn't related to combat, but could be used for combat. What under athletics? Construction and labor. So just like general manual labor. Sorry, I'm trying to just read quickly. I appreciate that there's a whole bunch of dead air that I'm trying to ignore. There's nothing that is suitable in my brain at the very least. Oh, hang on. That could work. That could work. They're using the rig's onboard computers to fix something temporarily. Whoops. And then labor rig. My sense of how well it's sealed would impart in terms of viability environments, deep ocean or a vacuum, say nothing of how temperature and pressure interact. Hey, look, this is low budget, made for TV sci-fi. It's not supposed to be realistic. Don't come at me like that. I don't run this show for people to poke holes in my reasoning. That's not fair. Which one am I looking for? Labor. Cool. There we go, unrelenting, that works. The ability to keep going. To get the job done. Obviously, this will all be tidied up in layout, and things will be bolded to make it easier to identify. Hard sci-fi person, who would have thought? I usually am, but I don't have the word count to do hard sci-fi here. And sometimes that's just what it boils down to. I could make these considerations, or I could save those words to use them elsewhere. What time is it? Just trying to think if I should start the macro rig, or... or not. Just do the outro now. Kind of like the idea of doing it all on stream, but I don't know if I'll be able to finish it on stream. And there's a couple of things I'd like to check, actually, thinking about it. There are some things I'd like to check, rules-wise. So I think this is good. Because I think it'd take more than like 10 minutes to get through. Ah, heck it, there's no one after me. Plastic Age players can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no one after me until like 8 PM this evening, so... third generation... generation of rig is... Let's have the advantage of having a material scientist as a friend. That is also true. And just knowing more stuff about this kind of thing. Colloquially known. As a macro rig. It requires 2 users to operate. Right, stands almost 50 feet tall and is prohibitively expensive. To manufacture. Well, it's in air quotes because this is what it's being referred to for the rest of the thing to save on word count. The macro rig counts as... oh gosh, where is the... Where are the exemplars? Nope. That didn't help. That really didn't help. I thought there was an exemplar, like scale exemplar stuff. I know there is an aberrant, but I don't want to reference another book. Where else? Where am I not looking? Oh, just the scale chapter section. Oh, I clicked on the wrong bookmark. That's on me. That is absolutely on me. I guess that'd be scale 5 for strength and size, strength, and durability. There's 15 injury conditions. Well, that'll make things drag on. I guess something to be aware of when designing anything, community content, homebrew, published adventures, whatnot, is combat takes a while, and the more health you give things, while it's cooler that you can soak more damage, the more health the thing has, the longer it kind of plays out. So 10 injury conditions is just the, like, 5-ish that the 2 users would have combined. Has 10 injury conditions and suffers no penalties from them. Well, actually, let's make it interesting, but suffers penalties as usual. It uses its users. I might change user to a different word. Pilot, I guess, would make more sense. Also, to say that this is a different kind of thing, let's just name it as pilot for the macro rig. It uses its pilots facets in place of skills and attributes. The primary actor uses a facet of their choice, and the secondary actor, the secondary pilot, contributes their intuitive, I think it is. Yes. Intuitive facet. Those penalties as usual. Its defense is the... So defense is... Hang on, I need to refresh my memory so I'm not thinking about things wrong. Yeah, defense is 1, and then you can defend to increase it. And your defense pool is, I believe, the most logical resilience attribute. Yes. Oops. Defense pool is lowest intuitive facet. Right, to use a facet of their choice, and secondary pilot contributes their intuitive facet. That's... Yep. Yeah, I was in the wrong place. Macro rig can use weapons designed for it, as well as appropriately sized improvised weapons. Gift. How should I handle gifts? You know what? And can... the pilots can use either of their gift. Either of their gift is wrong. That is not good grammar. Pilots share gifts. While in control of the macro rig. There's that psychic connection that mech media's fond of. Cancer scale 5, 10 injury conditions. So the macro rig stuff. That's where the interface suit described above, and the macro rig cockpit is a sealed room with a 24-hour air supply. Built-in ejection system. That triggers once the rig, once the macro rig runs out of injury conditions. Deposits them at long range. I guess I have to specify defense here because otherwise you could take this thing down with a pistol. Again, I need to check the precise wording of things, but that's it. Sorry, there we go. I think that's it. This generation of rigs, colloquially known as a macro rig, it requires two users. The pilot stands almost 50 feet tall and is prohibitively expensive to manufacture. The macro rig counts as scale 5 for defense size and strength, but has 10 injury conditions, suffers penalties as usual. Its defense pool is the lowest intuitive facet. It uses its pilot's facets in place of skills and attributes. The primary actor uses a facet of their choice, and the secondary pilot contributes their intuitive facet. The macro rig can use weapons designed for it, as well as appropriately sized improvised weapons. And the pilot share gifts while in control of the macro rig. Sitting within its cockpit. The pilot's wear the interface suit described above, and the macro rig cockpit is a sealed room with a 24-hour air supply, built-in ejection system that triggers once the macro rig runs out of injury conditions and deposits them at long range. I think that's at least got the basics down of what I wanted to cover. Between now and the end of the submissions window, I'm going to refresh my memory on how combat's on how like combat particularly works in TC Core, and tweak this so it includes all of the information that is needed. But I'm only 86 words over my 500 word goal, so I should be able to shave that off somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. I might have to push that out to 600 words. It's a, decently complex thing to discuss. But that's a problem for me to work on. Hopefully this has served as some kind of inspiration or commiseration for your own game jam efforts. That I might have the show. I might seem like I know what I'm doing a lot of the time, but I still struggle with ideas and ideation and getting things done and hitting deadlines for things that aren't contracted work. Also naming it, as I mentioned, I don't have a title for this yet, so that's cool. Yeah, so that was Appendix B, rigs. So just as a reminder for the outro, my name's Ryan, or Comrade Bubbles. I forgot to change the title of the stream when it started to include my name. Well, that's mildly annoying. I stream on Twitch twitch.tv/ComradeBubbles. I don't stream TTRPG material that often, but I do stream video game content, and I'm always happy to talk TTRPGs. My schedule this week's a bit topsy-turvy, so ordinarily I'd be streaming immediately after this, and on Thursday and Friday, but some things have come up I need to talk to my Discord community about and alert them, because it happened like 5 minutes before the stream started. But if you follow my channel, I'm always happy to talk RPG stuff and things of that nature. I'm also on Blue Sky, comradebubbles.bsky.social is the easiest social media platform to find me on. Always happy to discuss role-playing things. But hopefully you have enjoyed. The best place to go for any news on upcoming game jams, there may be another, who knows, if this one goes well enough. The community might arrange another. But the best place for that kind of news is the Monday Meeting News. This is the weekly update about where Onyx Path is as a company. And the important takeaways are that the next crowdfunding campaign is over at backkit.com. Link is in the chat. For the Curious Cats of Mao, as a supplement for the Realms of Pugmire, updating and converting the Monarchies of Mao material and building upon it to fit the Realms of Pugmire, and that will be starting a week today at 2 p.m. Eastern. And as such, we'll probably get some coverage on this very Twitch channel with material. So obviously, please do sign up for an update if that is something you are interested in. Other things to note, obviously, the game jam that we've been talking about, that I've been writing for today. The game jam runs through till the 28th of February. There is a blog post with the rules and the judging criteria and a couple of other useful bits of information. Just drop the link for that in chat. If you are stuck with ideas, or you're looking for a team to write with, or anything else, please do swing by the Onyx Path Discord server, the fora, Onyx Path subreddit, Facebook page, Blue Sky account, Twitter account, etc., etc. All of those places where you can interact with other fans who may be wanting to get in, but are not as confident as a solo creator, as some of us are, and that's totally fine. There is a joy in collaboration and helping each other achieve goals and ideas. And At the Gates, Ashcan was announced as the follow-up, as the second in the Earthbane cycle, as a follow-up to The World Below. There is an Indie Press Revolution sale on Chronicles of Darkness, as well as a sale on Trinity, Continuum, Aeon, and Aberrant novellas on Drive-Thru Fiction. Rest of the channel this week, today at all times in Eastern, today at 8 p.m. Awkward GM's going to be doing some game jam workshopping stuff. Wednesday at 9 p.m. Mage the Ascension Walking into Shadow. Thursday 6 p.m. Storypath Nexus Scion game jam stuff. Friday at noon, they came from the Cyclops' Cave Warriors of Legend. Saturday at 2 p.m. Meet Your Makers, show by Phil Keeling, where we'll be talking with Matthew Dawkins. And Monday at 8 p.m, the Eternally Cursed Hunt of the Vigils Stuffed. Whole bunch of other useful links and things on the Monday meeting notes. Please do be aware that this very Wednesday, you can purchase Once and Future from Drive-Thru RPG with the hardcover print on demand, which is pretty exciting if you like Scion books. And why would you not? If you have enjoyed the show, it runs fortnightly, so theoretically the next episode will be on the 27th, which is the day before the submission deadline. If I have everything ready by then, I don't necessarily think it'll be a full-length show, but I'm making promises right now that I might not keep, it might sound like I'm making promises right now. I'm not. I might stream my layout process. I don't know. Layout for me is the hardest step, and it takes a long time, and I don't know if I want to do that to myself, if I'm being completely honest. If I don't, it'll just be Pugmire as usual, because I want to have finished by that point, because layout takes so long for me. Or what I might do is record the layout process, so there's no pressure from chat. I don't know. That's something, and describe what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I might do like an edited video that I'll provide the live commentary for. I don't know. I'll figure it out. That seems like a lot of effort, but it might be useful. I don't know. But the next episode is the 27th. If you have enjoyed the show, but you missed the start, if you are a Twitch subscriber, you can just watch the video on demand as soon as the video ends. If you're not a Twitch subscriber and you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that to your Twitch account for a Prime Gaming account, which gives you 1 free subscription a month, gives you the same benefits of a Tier 1 subscription, gives Onyx Path the same benefits as a Tier 1 subscription, except it does not auto-renew. If you do not want to subscribe to the channel for whatever reason, which is totally valid, if you wait a week, it will go live. You'll just be able to watch the video on demand or the VOD on the Onyx Path Twitch channel, twitch.tv/theonyxpath. Also, after that week is up, I will, at some point after that week is up, upload this video to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@comradebubbles, where I have a playlist of all the behind-the-screen seasons for people who can't watch things live, want to refresh their memory, or are just interested in the design process that goes on behind the screen. I think that's largely it. Speaking from a place of slight bias, I really think that everyone who can afford to should back the Curious Cats of Mao. The book is going to be great. But I can't force anyone to do that, obviously. But I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any lingering questions, I will be around in chat for 5 minutes while the post-roll rolls. But thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this has been interesting or inspirational in some way. Hopefully it has helped you to think about things from a different perspective. Hopefully you come back, obviously, in 2 weeks' time. But until next time, please do stay safe. Please do stay healthy. Please do stay wholesome. Much love to you all, and goodbye.